Hey, it's Jason here, and I want to talk to you in this video about how to go from 0 to 1 and make your first acquisition in this recession that's coming up. Okay, those of you who pay close attention know it's very likely that we're entering a recessionary period. Interest rates are going up, demand is going down, and there's a lot of pressure on the economy right now. And many of you may be thinking, wow, this is really a scary time to go out there and buy my first business. Maybe I should wait. Maybe I should be patient. I'm here to tell you, I think if you're smart, now is a great time to build a team after picking a sector and then to go on and make that first acquisition. But it's all about how you do it. In this video, I want to talk about, I want to cover how to go about making your first acquisition in a smart way so that you build wealth instead of getting hurt. So, first thing to really talk about here is the importance of picking the right sector. The right sector is huge for being successful in a recession because without the right sector, you may literally get burned before you even build momentum. And a lot of sectors have died over the last couple of years. Think about the going to the bookstore business. It's basically dead. Borders Bookstore, if I'm not mistaken, they're completely dead. They used to be a thriving company. Think about Blockbuster Video. You used to go and get a video rental on a Friday evening. It's dead. It's cooked. It's gone. Okay, so the wrong sector will kill you, but the right sector will elevate you to new heights. And here's the thing to ask yourself. Will this sector be influenced by recessionary economic factors? In other words, will this sector thrive even during a tough economic period? If the sector is built to last, and if it seems like that demand is going to stay consistent and constant, even in a tough period, then it's probably a place you want to dive into. So it's all about picking that right sector. That's number one. Number two is build a great team to help you dominate in these times and in any environment, but especially during a recessionary environment. You have to have a professional team that's going to help you survive and thrive. And so what does this really constitute? This constitutes an awesome industry expert. That's number one. A great M&A attorney. That's number two. And a great accountant that's going to help you audit financials such as balance sheets, P&Ls, tax returns, and bank statements. Those three positions are huge. And without them, you're really going to be in a world of pain. So you have to build a deal team that's going to help you navigate the M&A environment. And it's going to help you buy your first company during these recessionary times. And then thirdly, it's all about making sure that the acquisition stands on its own 2 feet. This is huge. The acquisition has to stand on its own 2 feet. This means that the tax returns over the last 3 to 4 years are very consistent, both in the revenue department as well as the net income department, also known for these smaller transactions as the seller's discretionary earnings. This usually includes bottom line profits plus owner salary plus things like interest and amortization and any other clear and obvious add backs that the owner has that they are writing through the business. This may be the owner's vehicle, that may be the owner's life insurance, things like this. Okay, and you want to make sure, based on the tax returns, that the business is showing clear profits year over year and that these profits are very consistent year over year. This is huge because you never want to take a big gamble, especially during a recession, on a business that has unstable financials. You need these things to be solid. You need the earnings to be solid and consistent year over year. Okay, that's the next big one. And really from there, you also want to look for a strong management team in place. Okay, it's one thing for the business to be strong historically, but what if the seller was doing all the heavy lifting? Well, when that seller sells to you, now you're responsible for doing the heavy lifting. And so it's really ideal if you can find a business that has a strong management team in place. A strong management team in place that hopefully will stay on post-close. If you can, as a sidebar comment, talk to the management team during due diligence and really get a sense of whether or not they're interested in being there for a long period of time. Okay, that's really, really important. The next one is the valuation. You got to be buying the business, especially during a recessionary environment where interest rates are going to be elevated. You really need to be buying the business at the right multiple. Okay, 2.5 to maybe 3 times earnings is as much as you want to pay during a recessionary period. Any more than that, and you're really going to be risking the deal, because those interest payments, if you're not careful, can eat up all of your free cash flow. And so 2.5 to 3 times earnings is about all you want to be paying for a traditional business as you go from 0 to 1 and make that first acquisition during a recessionary environment. And then lastly, the thing I'd really be watching out for most is, are there any clear and obvious red flags in the deal that really give you, cause for pause, right? So for example, is the biggest customer a great friend of the existing seller? Okay. Or does all of the staff in the company have a great relationship with the seller? Maybe they're his sons and daughters that all work in the business. Okay. What other kind of sidebar deals might there be going on in the small to mid-sized business that could suddenly evaporate when you come on as the buyer and as the new owner of the business? Okay, the key with the business acquisition isn't only to look backwards at the historical financials, but it's also to analyze the future and to ascertain whether or not this business has a very high likelihood of continuing to operate in the same way that it has in the past. And so this means you really want to look for those red flags. And there's a host of red flags, and this is why it's so important to have an industry expert on your team to help you analyze these deals. But these are a few things to watch out for. Are there friends and family in the deal? Are there special relationships with customers or vendors that are going to evaporate once you take over the business? Be mindful of these things. And if you watch out for all these things, if you get in the right sector, if you build a good deal team, if you buy the business at between 2.5 to 3 times earnings, if you really go about this process in a smart way, you can do phenomenally well during a recessionary environment. The first deal I did with Brighter Utilities, the company that I founded, we bought that company in 2020, right at the height of the pandemic. Everybody was afraid back in these times. This was before the cure, in quotes, for that disease that was floating around came out. Okay. This was when nobody was flying on airplanes, when everybody was staying in their home, when everybody was wearing a mask. I was one of the only ones on the entire plane flying around the country looking at deals. And we did a deal in the last recession, when there was fear, when there was uncertainty, when there was that fog of war that was clouding everybody's vision and judgment. Turned out to be a fantastic deal. We bought a deal that, in a different time, probably would have been gobbled up by somebody that was more well capitalized, that had more money and deeper pockets. But because I endeavored and proceeded in the face of uncertainty, we got a great company and established a real headquarters in Tampa Bay, where I am now, 2.5, 3 years later. So there's great opportunities during recessionary environments, but it's all about you to have the courage, the leadership, and the foresight to be able to navigate. And if you do so successfully, you can be very well taken care of and you can reap significant rewards, but it's all about being smart. Okay, so use this video as a reference and as a resource. And with that, if you'd like more information about buying businesses, go to jasonpaulrogers.com. If you are an accredited investor and you'd rather me do all the hard work and you just ride on my coattails, put capital in and get a rate of return, a high rate of return, then go to brighterutilities.com. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, hit the notification bell as well. Thumbs the thing up, and hey, share your comments below, and I'll be sure to make more content for you in the next one. With that, I'll talk to you.